High school football started last Friday in Idaho, and for the most part, the games and the atmosphere look the same as before COVID times, and that's where Karthik Venkatraman and Brenna Green picks up the story now.
Yeah, there were large groups of fans at some of the games we went to this past Friday who weren't wearing masks or social distancing like their schools had asked them to do. Karthik Venkatraman spoke to administrators from some of the schools we went to this past Friday and a local health expert to get their reaction on how fan attendance went.
Lake City High School and Sandpoint High School were two teams that hosted football games last Friday in North Idaho. At both, fans didn't socially distance much, and they weren't really wearing masks.
You know, it wasn't perfect. Yeah, certainly a little bit of concern there. Our performance, on meeting the requirements last Friday at our first home football game was not good enough.
Lake City High is in Kootenai County, which has a mask mandate. According to Scott Maben with the Coeur d'Alene School District, as of now, those who attend events on campus must wear a mask and socially distance. But for the most part, that wasn't the case last Friday.
When people were coming through the gates, a lot of people had their masks with them, had them on, went up to the stands, settled in, game started, masks came off. I did talk with Principal Clifford about it. She did share with me that she was walking up and approaching some groups of students to get their attention, and the masks then would go up. I think moving forward, like I said, we're going to evaluate whether it may be necessary to take a tougher stand with spectators. We can't let people just completely ignore the requirements.
At Sandpoint in Bonner County, there is no mask mandate. There is no social distance requirements, only recommendations by the high school to do both at games. The school originally set up boundaries to block off every other bleacher to distance people, but the fans disregarded those, and many were pretty close to one another.
I think in every community you have the people that are hesitant to change, right? I think the biggest challenge is getting people to accept that we're kind of in a little bit of we are in a different climate. We are in a different world right now.
Post Falls High School and Lakeland High School were visiting teams at both Sandpoint and Lake City, respectively. Their fans weren't social distancing or wearing masks for the most part either. That being said, they had smaller seating areas too. I showed these visuals to Kate Hoyer with the Panhandle Health District.
What concerns you most when you see things like that?
Just the continuation of the spread of this virus. It was pretty crowded. Not a lot of masks being worn, not a lot of physical distancing.
Hoyer says that schools had reached out to the Panhandle District for recommendations regarding fans.
Our first reaction was, can you do it without any fans in the stands at all? Because we kind of figured this would happen and people wouldn't adhere to the physical distancing, and we knew that would be difficult. But the schools wanted to do with fans in the stands for the event, so that's what they did, and hopefully they tried to do it as safely as possible.
While the schools try to find ways to get this under control, they urge fans to understand the severity of the situation.
If we want to continue to be able to do this, we're literally in week one. We've got all these weeks ahead. If we want to continue to do this, the best, safest practice is to wear a face covering. The best, safest practice is to socially distance.
I want everyone to understand that we're doing this because, we care about the health and safety of our student athletes and the coaches and the officials and everyone who's there, the spectators, who are showing up to enjoy these games.
Karthik Venkatraman, Krem 2 Sports.
In North Idaho, and as of right now, we have not heard of any cancellations due to COVID-19. Of course, we will have full highlights tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. That's it for sports.